Dear travellers, and welcome. As promised, today we're going to look back at the gauntlet that was run, aka the Nikon Coolpix 775 challenge. If you haven't seen that episode, I would recommend you do. Anyway, so I heard back from a few guys about the Nikon Coolpix 775, and they pretty much said they liked it, so that's cool. Okay guys, that's all we really have today, so I guess I'll catch you on the next one. This is me walking away, and closing the door. Bye. Are you still there? I didn't really walk away. I just had to make sure only the die-hard fans are here, because today's episode is, well, it's... You'll never believe me. Just roll the film. So first up we have Matt from Matt's Notes, who did a great review of the 775. I'll leave a link in the description. Here's some highlights.
So our brother from down under issued us a challenge that I have happily accepted. So Shutter Slaps, this video's for you. Oh yeah, that's a foul stench. Smells a bit like oatmeal. So after using the Nikon 775 here for the past couple of weeks, I can come to the scientific and reasonable conclusion that this camera's cursed.
This pretty much sets the pace for the rest of the video. There is something very unusual about this camera, that's for sure. Matt also sent some shots that he was able to get with this camera. Keep in mind that this is a 2 megapixel camera. That's nothing more than a point and shoot camera. I'm impressed. Listen closely. The following video is the retelling of actual events that took place on the same planet you live on. Unless you're watching this from another planet. I received an encrypted video from Ulysses Grant Palm, link in the description. Once I was able to decipher the hieroglyphics and reroute the access codes, I was rewarded with this video. Enjoy.
It's like flying with a dead elephant on our back, said astronaut Jim Lovell about piloting his compromised rocket ship in the 1995 Amish romance Apollo 13. Speaking of perilous journeys, I got a package in the mail the other day. A camera I bought in an attempt to complete the Shutter Slap 775 challenge. It's the dreamboat pictured here. My intention was to fly a routine mission. By that I mean snap a handful of photos and send them along to the aforementioned Shutter Slaps. But you know what they say about the best laid plans, and my moon mission got real interesting real fast. The camera arrived in this box, festooned with Scotch tape. I wasn't aware this met USPS code, but hey, it made it through the system mostly sealed, so what do I know? Upon opening the package, I discovered that it was wrapped in some very old crumbling newspaper. I did my best to gingerly extricate the camera, while preserving as much of the paper as I could. And I'm glad I did, because it was a couple of pages from the New York Times from September of 1964. More specifically, the paper that reported the results of the Warren Commission's findings on the Kennedy assassination of the previous year. That event was kind of a big deal here in the States, eclipsing even the Apollo 13 mission, which would occur some 6 years hence. The camera came with neither a charger nor a battery, so I cleaned it up, set it aside, and ordered the necessaries from Amazon. 6 days later, yesterday as I report these events, the battery and charger arrived and I set to work. The first thing I noticed was that the battery door latch was compromised and couldn't hold the battery in place, hence the rubber bands you see in the image. And alas, when I powered it up, the lens popped out, zoomed to its furthest reach, and seems to be stuck there indefinitely. Finally, a system error message popped up immediately, regardless of the mode I was in or the CF card I had installed. Uh-oh. But as in the Apollo film, it was time to see if a solution could be devised with the materials at hand. So I installed and banded up my battery, and spent the next hour trying every button-pressing sequence I could to get the shutter to fire. Finally, I found one that worked. If I powered on the camera in Fiesta or Snowman at the Beach mode, then half-pressed and held the shutter button while the camera went through its machinations, I could time a shot for the brief moment between the display firing up and the system error message. Of course, it was one shot only, and the whole operation took about 30 seconds per attempt, perhaps 50% of which were successful. But failure was not an option, and I'll be darned if I didn't get a handful of shots I liked. And here they are. think this camera would be a blast if it was fully operational. The form factor's awesome, and it's a joy to hold. Seriously, I'd be pumped if more camera companies tried a body design like this today. Also, the JPEGs look good to my eye, especially the dynamic range. No blown out skies here. Per the challenge, I wasn't permitted to mess with the straight out of camera images. No color correction, no white balance, no exposure changes. Okay, you got me. I have to confess, I did rotate one of my shots about 3 degrees because I get freaked out by messy verticals. It's the one with the Walden Pond sign and the very tiny moon, so please forgive me, Misters Thoreau, Lovell, and Slaps. All in all, this was a grand adventure. Would I have liked to use the macro mode? Sure, that would have been great. Also, I tend to lean pretty heavily on self-timers in my shooting, and that wasn't possible either. But in the words of Gene Kranz, as played by the effervescent Ed Harris, I don't care about what anything was designed to do, I care about what it can do. And this little treat, when properly coaxed, can take some pretty cool images. So hey, it's been a privilege flying with this thing, and with you all too. Thanks for taking the time. Happy shooting, and have a great day.
That blows my mind. What's the chances that the camera would be wrapped in that news article? This only gives more weight to Matt's scientific realization. I also received a submission from Mechneck on Instagram, who sent me this sweet shot. What a legend. Honestly, to all you guys that got involved, I want to say a big thank you. To think that a bunch of guys who live on the other side of the earth would go out and grab this camera to take up this challenge is not short of amazing. And to anyone watching this, please go to these guys' pages, subscribe and show them some love. Well, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think and I'll catch you on the next one.
To me, a solo is a composition within a composition, and if it doesn't fit the composition that it's within, then you might as well just throw it out the window. You might as well just, be stroking, the neck over and over and over again.